I'm just enjoying some... always forget to turn the fan off. I'm just enjoying some Judas Priest at 12:01. I'm gonna go to bed in a couple hours, but I thought that I would make an update first, or a DVD and Blu-ray update. Yeah. I just want to touch on one thing before though. If you don't really care about anything else than the movies I picked up, which is fine, then I can, link, write the times where I talk about each and every title in the description, and that way you can kind of decide to listen to the ones that you want to listen to as well if you don't want to hear about everything. So I will do that. But before that, for the ones of you who do want to listen, I talked about this in my last video, which got 3 dislikes. So I'm wondering if that's why. It's not a whole lot, 3 dislikes, but it's more than usual. So I'm just kind of wondering if the reason... Well, basically I said that I was going to stop buying so many movies and kind of just save some money and get a little bit less for now, which I said that I was going to talk about in this video as well, which is what I'm doing now, but I'm going to be more brief here. But basically I've decided just to try to get less movies because I have so much to watch as it is, so this will keep me busy for a while, and then I can re-watch stuff from my collection, and I can, I can stream some stuff from Netflix and HBO, and I just feel like I should save some money. Because it could be a good idea for many reasons, and yeah, I said a lot more in the last video, but I think that's enough for now. But I wonder if that's why those 3 people disliked my video. I usually get 1 dislike. I think I have a hater, but it's okay. 3, yeah, it's not a big deal, but I'm just wondering if these 3 people were like, oh fuck this, he's not gonna buy as much movies anymore, he's not gonna make these huge haul videos anymore, well I'm out of here, I'm not gonna watch this anymore. Which is okay. I mean, it's, in a way it's understandable, because I do, a fairly big part of my channel, is focused on big movie hauls, so it's fine. I mean, it's understandable, but I'm kind of hoping that I have at least a little bit more to offer than huge hauls. But I mean, don't worry, I'm gonna keep making as many videos as I can. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna make fewer videos. It just kind of means that I'm gonna be picking up fewer items for now. But I'm gonna buy stuff more. I'm gonna pick up a few releases that I feel like I really want to see day one, and I'm going to I'm gonna focus on perhaps some nicer releases, like there's a couple Masters of Cinema editions I want to get. I really want to get Napoleon, released by BFI in November, I think, and also to kind of try to find some bargains. So anyway, that's basically what I said, and that's what I'm saying now again. So expect maybe less for a while, although I have a few things on pre-order that I've already paid for. Well, in the most cases I have paid for them already, which is good. And I have more stuff here behind the camera, which I'm not going to talk about now because I have not seen them yet. So there are at least, after this one, there's at least 2 more videos of quite a good amount of stuff, I'd say. Well, maybe not at least 2, but 2 videos, 2 updates worth of stuff. But anyway, so we have a bunch of stuff here that I'm going to talk about, and let's get going. First of all, I can't really talk about this. I'm going to come back to this eventually. I can't see my reflection in the it's Inherent Vice. I can't see my reflection in the TV, so if you wonder why I'm looking over there, it's to try to make sure that the glare is not too bad like this, because it's dark outside. If I sit where I normally do, my light is not enough, so I have to sit here. But yeah, Inherent Vice with a bunch of good actors, but I was not in the right mood when I turned this on, so I'm gonna have to come back to that. So maybe I shouldn't have included that now. It was kind of pointless. But anyway, next one I have seen. This is John Wick with Keanu Reeves. Also with you'll see a name here, Michael Nyqvist. Well, that's a Swedish name, and he was in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And I think he was in that movie Disconnect, wasn't he? With well, a bunch of people. He's in this, and he has pretty big part. They didn't just put him here because it's a Swedish Blu-ray and they wanted to show that, oh, we have a Swede in a somewhat big movie. He is actually pretty much the second biggest character, which I thought was cool. And I thought it was cool that I could see some of his mannerisms that I recognize from his performances way back. I could see in this. So that was kind of fun, you know. But it's a pretty cool movie. It's more than just an action movie. It's really stylish, and I love some of the action sequences, the way they're shot, and the way the way they're choreographed, and some of the locations are pretty cool too. They just the way they kind of set up the geography of where you are, and the places where they filmed them. There's a scene. It really makes you feel like you're in the movie, in that place. There's a scene in a nightclub where a bunch of action stuff and killing of people is going on, and that scene was really cool, well done, well filmed, and overall it's a movie that is not perfect. There are some scenes which kind of made me laugh, which kind of they made me think that perhaps they weren't intended to be comedic, and there are some things that might not work for other reasons too, but you know, overall it's a damn fun movie. I definitely would recommend that. Then we have a Danish black comedy heist film here called, I think the English title is something like They Eat Dogs in China, or In China They Eat Dogs, which I thought that I would like this a bit more. I picked this up a while ago from a seller online, and I don't know, I just wasn't a huge fan of this. It's about a heist, basically amateur buddies pulling off a heist, and it goes fairly sloppy, but it goes surprisingly well after all. It was, you know, it didn't make me laugh too much. It's fairly gritty. It looked like it had a fairly low budget, and I don't know, it just didn't appeal to me too much, unfortunately. I can't really put my finger on why exactly. It just wasn't. I don't know. I didn't like it too much. I did just get done watching South Park, these 2 seasons, or well, season 16 here I watched a little while ago, and season 17 got done watching right now. So these are pretty good. I thought that perhaps season 17 had a couple more episodes more to offer. I mean, a couple. The best episodes on season 17 might have been a bit better than season 16, because there's a trilogy here, a Game of Thrones / Black Friday trilogy, which is hard not to like. I actually watched that today as well, and it's definitely an homage / parody to Game of Thrones, and a comment on the absurdity of Black Friday, and it's great fun. Really good animation in that, and that's where the cover comes from. Yeah, it actually says Black Friday in the back there. I don't think you can really tell here with the glare going on. About the releases, I've gotten up to season 16 in these repack releases. You can see, you know, I guess it's TV screens or computer screens. Well, they're basically just images of a bunch of pictures from the season, I'm guessing. And season 17 is not released that way. It might be in Germany, but I want the English-friendly releases. But I had to get this nicer release of season 17. They really are nicer. It's just that I've gotten the repack releases of the rest of them, so I kind of wanna keep that continuity. But it's alright, you know. Anyway, I'm still enjoying South Park very much, and I'm trying to catch up to where they're at right now. I know season 20 is about to start, so well, I'm pretty close now. I did pay full price for this. It might have been a foolish thing to do. I wasn't disappointed because I wasn't expecting more than I got, but you know, I was just in a money spending mood, I think. But I wanted to see it. I really did want to see this. But Mother's Day. Yeah, I bought this mainly for Jennifer Aniston because I am a fan of hers. I don't think she's an excellent actor, but I just kind of like her on-screen presence. Ever since Friends, I like all of those guys. So not much to say about this. It's exactly what you'd expect from a movie like that. Multiple different, or a couple, maybe 3 different storylines kind of coming together, and there's not much to say really. It's all right. This one was pretty good. I wanted to see this for a while. A BBC comedy series, and it's called Love Soup by David Renwick. And 2 series here. We have Tamsin Greig here on the cover. She's in this along with, basically in season 1 we have 2 different characters, Tamsin Greig and this guy right here. Oh god, the glare, man. But this guy in the background, he's an American, he lives in Britain, and it's about the two of them, but they never meet. It's about how they both seem to be kind of, well, they appear different. They are portrayed as very different from everybody else, everybody that they interact with. They're kind of trying to make sense of the world. They're seeing the absurdity of the world. They're observing the world from a bit of a distance, if you will, and it's kind of pointed out that they're perfect for each other. Actually, it's pointed out on the back of the DVD here. Yeah, that they are perfect for each other, and the storylines keep jumping between the two of them, but they never meet. The storylines are not really connected, and it's well done, really is. In series 2, though, which I think is the reason why we don't have the American on the cover here. In series 2, we only see Tamsin Gregg. He has left the show, which I don't think is a huge spoiler, but so it does make the show a bit about Tamsin Gregg, well, starring her, since season 2 continues only with her character. But it's a really interesting drama comedy, I guess you might say. It's if the show feels like throwing something completely unexpected at the audience, then it will do that. Like the American is a screenwriter, a comedic screenwriter, so sometimes you'll see a couple sketches acted out, which sometimes it's not even going to give you context what it is you're looking at, but you'll kind of understand later. And some of them are kind of, well, obviously different in style from the show, and anyway, so stuff like that. And then in series 2, a few other rather dark scenes, I gotta say, and stuff that it just feels like the writers are having fun. They're just gathering inspiration all from, you know, many different sources, and they're putting it all in the show in very clever, witty ways, and it's good for sure. I enjoyed that. I don't think that I would like a series 3. I think 2 series are enough, because they did come back to make series 2 a few years after series 1, so could be possible for a series 3, although, well, it's been about 8 years actually since series 2, so I don't think we should expect a series 3, but I don't know if it's really necessary. I feel like they kind of did what they could with this concept, but I really did enjoy it while it lasted. Then the next one is Pixar's newest. No, actually it's not, because Finding Dory is out in the theaters anyway. But we have The Good Dinosaur. Maybe this came out before Inside Out. I don't know, but it's a recent Pixar movie that, you know, got kind of mixed reviews, and I can see why. The story and the characters are not all that compelling if you compare to previous Pixar movies, where the characters are absolutely fantastic, and but the animation in this really stands out. The way they've animated nature is really beautiful. There's not really anything in the movie except for nature and animals. Some animals which don't really exist, because this movie takes place, I don't know how long after, but sometime after the supposed asteroid killed the dinosaurs. So supposedly after that, if the dinosaurs kept being alive, I mean, evolution would have evolved differently. So, I mean, I'm not David Attenborough, but I'm guessing. So we see a couple other animals, I guess, that the writers and animators have had fun with. Only a couple, really. It's really, like I said, a movie that relies on nature. But I thought it was good. I was unfortunately not really in the best of moods when I watched it, and that can affect your memory of a movie. But I did really, I did enjoy the movie. I did appreciate it. There was some funny stuff in the movie. It doesn't hold up really in comparison to the other ones that has come out from Pixar, a lot of them, but I'd say it's worth a watch. It's I think it's gonna make you happy. You know, it might not be the best Pixar movie, but it's definitely a feel-good movie. All right, the Brothers Grimsby or just Grimsby. I don't know if the Brothers Grimsby is an international title or an alternative title, but you know, I was I wanted to see this because it's Sacha Baron Cohen and I do like what he does, but I was also very intrigued because I had seen a clip from the Jimmy Kimmel show, I don't know, several months ago, where Sacha Baron Cohen was there promoting this movie, and he brought a clip with him, but they could not show that to the viewers. They could show it to the audience in the studio, however, and they did film the reaction of the audience members. And in the comment section on YouTube for that video, there was someone who I suppose must have been to that show, to that show, because he basically went through what happened, and it just sounded so over the top that I just had to see it for myself. And I'm sure I would have been able to see it sooner, out of context on YouTube by now or something, but I wanted to wait until I got the movie. And it's the worst Sacha Baron Cohen movie so far, I guess, but it's alright. It's got some funny stuff, not one that I will return to again, unlike the other movies he's done before. It's a one-time watch for me, but it was alright. It was pretty funny, I'd say. I did laugh a couple times. Now this one might be the highlight of the video, possibly. This one I really liked a lot. This is 10 Cloverfield Lane. This is... I had no idea exactly how related this was going to be to Cloverfield, and I'm not going to spoil that really, but it's vaguely related. It's you can see why kinda it's called Cloverfield, but it's very much a different movie, very much so, and I'd say a better movie. Difficult to compare the two because they're two completely different things for the most part, but I love what they did with this. Basically, it's about, I don't know her name, I forget her name, but this actress right here. She has a car crash. She is taken into, where she wakes up chained to a wall in what looks like a cell. Well, not a cell, but it's like a room in a basement without much going on, and she's obviously trapped. You know, somebody has taken her there. Then John Goodman's character walks in, and he has also kidnapped I'm using the word kidnapped, someone else who's also a little bit, you know, in this what turns out to be a bunker. And John Goodman says that there's something going on with the air outside, something that's you know, you can't breathe in because you'll die, and he basically he wanted to save her. There's a big mystery. I'm not going to go into that too much because it's revealed throughout the movie. But there's a big mystery exactly what actually happened during the crash, and if John Goodman is actually a good guy or a bad guy. You know exactly who he is. But the reason why I love the movie so much is because, well, there are three reasons. The way they build up the mystery, the way you don't know really, because you really don't know how things are going to end up. And the second thing is John Goodman's acting, which is the reason for number one, I feel, because he was so convincing in his part. He was excellent. I don't like to speak in terms of Oscar worthy performances because there's more than the Oscars, but I almost feel like he could have been nominated for an Oscar for something like this. He was. I don't know if it's what the Academy would go for, but I just thought he was absolutely great. The third thing is that I love movies that is sort of, well, they take place in one place and they never leave that place. So they need to work with just a limited area, and they need to come up with ways other than exciting action sequences all over the globe, like Marvel does, for example. I mean, I love Marvel, but they need to work with the details of this location. And I love that. You pay attention to so many things that you don't in other kinds of movies. Because, yeah, I don't know. It just takes a lot of skill to have a movie set entirely in a couple of rooms, you know, and have it be, you know, on the edge of your seat, exciting and interesting the whole time. I loved it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Now we have Krampus, which I didn't even know was released in Sweden, but it was, and it was not really that expensive either. It's a fun movie. It's like reminds me of Trick or Treat a little bit. That not a surprise because it's by the same director, but it also reminds me of like a part of it was like a horror version of A Christmas Vacation, you know, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and some of it felt like a Gremlins tribute. But it's very much its own thing too. Yeah, it takes place during Christmas, and but it's a Christmas horror movie with some Christmassy characters coming to life, with some really good special effects, both practical and yeah, both practical and CGI. What a generic review, but I really did love it. I enjoyed it a lot. Man of Steel. Lola's Basement here on YouTube was kind enough to actually buy this for me. I commented on one of his videos. He showed this dump bin or whatever of cheap titles, and this I spotted this. This was a long time ago. I spotted this, and then I commented like, I made a video about this already, but it's been a while, so I'll just recap. So I commented on his video that, oh, if I found that I would have bought that. He said, oh, I'll go pick it up and I'll send it to you. So again, thank you if you're watching. However, I was not a big fan of the movie, and I have to also say that I did pick up. I actually have it over there. Batman vs v Superman, which is called. I don't get why. I mean, why everybody will. I mean, I read an interview with Zack Snyder where he said that, well, I didn't want it to be a versus movie, so I removed the S, and that was it. I mean, I don't get it. But Man of Steel, I'm not really gonna bother with the DC universe. As much as I appreciate getting the Blu-ray, I didn't like the movie, and I actually turned Batman vs Superman off after an hour. That's the reason why I don't have it here, because I have put it up online to sell, and I did get the Ultimate Edition, and I could, wait and give it another try later on. But knowing myself, I won't. And I've heard such horrible things about Suicide Squad for the most part, and I just don't think I want to get into the DC universe, honestly. Maybe later on. Maybe if Justice League ends up being a masterpiece, I'll watch Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. But the reason why I was quick to put it up online is because it's the Ultimate Edition Steelbook. It's fairly expensive right now. If I wait, the price might go down, and if I end up selling it anyway, I'm gonna get less money for it. So I might as well put it up right away, which seems like such a waste, because I didn't even watch the movie. I mean, it's one thing if you buy something, watch it, okay, I don't really like this, and so you sell it. At least you got your money's worth. You know you don't like the movie. But I didn't even watch it. I watched like a third of it, not even that. So that doesn't happen often at all. But with that movie, the thing is, which sounds completely contradictory and confusing, but I didn't think that it was all that bad. It was just something that I could not get into. I thought that Man of Steel was pretty bad. No chemistry at all, and really bad writing, or just very poor story development, I thought. But Batman v Superman struck me as a more solid movie, at least from what I saw. I couldn't get inspired to get into this whole universe. I don't know. It just is what it is. I don't feel interested enough, and I think part of the reason is because I'm basically watching this. I watched Man of Steel to get to Batman v Superman, and when I started watching this movie, Batman v Superman, I felt as if I was watching this to get to Suicide Squad. And I've heard horrible things bad things about Suicide Squad, like I said, so I was like, I just don't care. It's not that bad, but I don't know. Anyway, I spent too long on that. But speaking of my last video, I talked about Kubo and the Two Strings, and the fact that I really want to see that in the movie theater. It's the upcoming or new movie by the Laika animation studio, and their previous one before that was Box Trolls. So this is the last one that I had to see Well, now I've seen them all three of them that have been released by this studio or production company. The other two, of course, are Coraline and Paranorman. This is the worst one so far, but it doesn't mean that it's not. It's still pretty good as a movie, and of course the animation is very impressive, as the other two are. But there's something about the movie which is, I mean, it's not the most pleasant movie to watch. If you've seen the movie, it's fairly maybe overly unattractive in a way. I mean, the way the characters look, they just give me the creeps, and I don't really want to feel creeped out when I watch fun family animated movies. They look, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but they look, which the cover is not really giving away, but a lot of the other characters, they look ill. They have just gone over the top with the makeup to make them look unhealthy and unattractive, and sometimes I have a hard time getting into that. Gives me some anxiety, actually. I don't know why. Some slight anxiety. I just don't enjoy it. But the movie, it wasn't bad. It was, it was a good movie, and but just not as pleasant as the other two were. They're not really pleasant either. There's definitely a scary factor to all three of these movies. But there's something about this which, I make it sound as if I really don't like it, but I do like it. It just has an element to it that I had a hard time appreciating. Next up is a movie that I wasn't really a big fan of either. I feel like I've said this a few times here, but maybe I just don't happen to have any masterpieces this time around. Southpaw. This struck me as a pretty average boxing movie. Every time I hear about a new boxing movie coming out, I'm just, for fuck's sake, do we need another boxing movie? Because they're always the same. I just feel like there's a limited amount of things you can do with a boxing movie. I don't know. This movie just didn't impress me. Apparently, people kind of seem to like it. I don't think it blew anyone away, but it just has all the boxing ingredients that you might expect. It doesn't. I mean, before this movie came out, I think I remember talking to a friend like, "Oh, Southpaw is coming out. I might want to go see that in the movie theater." But then, as sometimes the hype died down as you find out more about the movie, and that's what happened with this. And I did want to watch it. That I did regain some of the hype before I watched it. So that wasn't really the problem. But when I actually did watch it, I don't know. It just didn't stick in my memory. That's it, basically. Last movie here. Then we have two more kind of documentary type titles. One documentary, one reality show. 187, a movie with Samuel L. Jackson. Fairly early on, 1997. So he had starred in Pulp Fiction, a couple of years before, but he still, I don't know exactly how his on-screen persona has evolved over the years, but I feel like maybe after Pulp Fiction, he had a certain part that he kind of returned to. I'm sure he's done a lot more stuff than that. I've seen many movies with him, but I don't know exactly if this was a departure from what he normally has been doing for the most part, or if he has done more dramatic parts like this. Because this is a drama. He plays very much a different character from a lot of the roles that he's played over the years. He's a school teacher, a very intellectual, sensible, clever man who. It's a pretty gritty, dark movie, and mainly dark visually. I mean, it's dark thematically too, but it's a dark. It just, the way it's filmed, the way it's lighted, it's just that adds to the grittiness for sure. It's dark thematically too, like I said, because it's about him getting sort of attacked at a school by a student who, doesn't like him, to say the least. It is a pretty violent, bad school, but still, he gets stabbed and attacked, and then a little while later, we see him relocating to a different school, where some of the same problems re-emerge, and he's reminded of a lot of the same stuff. And I really enjoy. I didn't really enjoy it, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't like the way it ended, really. I wouldn't say. You know, I realized I don't have too much to say about some of these movies. It was a pretty good, pretty solid flick, though. I did want to get into some Ingrid Bergman movies. I actually did get a box set of some of her early movies, which I'm going to talk about later on. But for now, I got this. I don't know what the English title is, but this means I am Ingrid. According to, well, after having seen the special features, the way this movie happened, it's about Ingrid Bergman. Well, I said that. It's a documentary about her career, obviously released after her death, which she died a long time ago. Isabella Rossellini approached the director of this movie. I don't know his name, it doesn't really matter, but approached him because I guess she knew that he was a documentary filmmaker. And she said, you should make a documentary about my mother, because if you didn't know, Isabella Rossellini is the daughter of Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini. And she said, you should make a documentary about my mother. And he said, okay, I will. I'm sure there were a little bit more to it, but that's how they paint up the story. And so they presumed, or they started to make a documentary about Ingrid Bergman, which is actually released on Criterion, which kind of surprised me, actually. But this DVD has, I think, most, if not all, of the extras that the Criterion has, which is surprising because I feel like Swedish releases usually don't. They aren't this generous with extras. I mean, you can see the box, if you can see the yellow box here with titles or with text. But it's a good documentary about her life. Definitely gives you more of an idea of who she was as a person, and you know, how her career developed. Because I knew some stuff about her, but not enough. And I'm pretty sure I had never seen a movie with her either. So that's why I wanted to get that box set. I'll be talking about that more later on. But she's a fascinating actress who really knew what she wanted, and it's fairly emotional. I feel, yeah, there's definitely documentaries, you know, biopics or I don't know what you'd call them, but biographical documentaries about a person, chronicling this person's life, most usually after his or her death. There are documentaries like that which I feel have gotten to me more, but this did explain. This did do a pretty good, or a really good job in just conveying to the viewer who she was. Anyway, so I recommend the documentary if you want to know more about Ingrid Bergman, or if you're a fan. I'm guessing you know a lot of this, because she's obviously this legendary figure in cinema. But it was a well done documentary. It even has a bunch of her home movies that she filmed herself, which I kind of doubt has been released before and shown before. I also love, I just gotta say finally, that I love Isabella Rossellini's enthusiasm. Whenever I've heard her talk about her mother, she always lights up. I mean, maybe that's just how she is, but she always seems to be showing such great love for her mother and respect for her mother. And I don't know, I appreciate that. I don't know, I like the fact that she approached him to you should make a documentary about my mother. Anyway, all right, last title here. I don't know, maybe not ending this with a high note, but I did pick up the Osborne's 2.5. My battery has been blinking for a while, so if this interrupts me, oh well, not a big deal. Considering what I'm talking about. No, I actually kind of like this. I'm not gonna lie, I like this show. I do think that it exploits the family, or kind of makes some unnecessary fun of Ozzy Osbourne sometimes, because he was obviously heavily influenced, or heavily I can't think of the English word. Well, he was on drugs. He said that after he doesn't want to see this because I was high throughout the whole thing. You can tell that he's that he's on something. And yeah, they exploit some of his some of the silly things he do and some of the silly things he say because of that. And they use you know, clever reality TV editing to make it even funnier and stuff like that that could be easy to criticize. But overall, it's a pretty harmless show, I would say. It's good fun. It's not quality TV. I mean, it's not really about anything. I mean, there's a commentary with Kelly Clarkson, and yeah, there are actually commentaries. And don't worry, I didn't listen to them all, but I did catch one thing that Kelly Clarkson said. She was like, "No, actually, that's not a commentary. That was at the end of an episode." Anyway, she had been filmed later on, and anyway, she had just seen the episode, and she said, like, "I don't even know how did they make an episode out of this? I mean, nothing happened. How did they get a whole episode out of this?" Anyway, so yeah, they have made episodes out of some pretty uneventful things, but they do manage to make it pretty funny and enjoyable, you know, with the editing. And of course, well, the family members, they are pretty out there. They do some stuff that, anyway, I'm tired. I'm just gonna excuse my ineloquence with the fact that I'm tired. But that's it. I like it. It's not great. It definitely is not great, but I've enjoyed watching that. I picked up season 2 in Stockholm, by the way, and then this is 2.5 because season 2 was not actually season 2. It was only half. But anyway, yeah, if I recommend anything from this update that you might not have seen, it would be 10 Cloverfield Lane, and perhaps John Wick as well, and Krampus. So thanks for watching, and Love Soup. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.